Hello, and happy Friday. It's a Friday before July 4th. So excited to be here with you. Welcome to In the Loop. This is when we have fun every single week in the loop with the one and only, my co-host, Greg Nibbler. Hello, I am Winnie's son. For those of you who don't know me, you may have seen me on CNBC, longtime financial advisor, financial pro, a managing director of Sunker Wealth Partners, all that good stuff. But without further ado, let's bring on Greg. Hi, Greg. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Thank you, Winnie. Hello, everybody. Yeah, thanks for joining us. In case you don't know who I am, I've been a technology host and a reporter in all kinds of different fields for a number of different years. So I'm happy to be here to bring that to you and have some fun and talk to everybody live as we get to interact with everyone. It's just so cool. It's so cool to be a part of this. And I thank everybody who's joining us right now. And we've got some really fun things to talk about today. Coming up in just a little bit, we're going to talk about some streaming television shows, streaming movies. What would you recommend for people to watch? So we're going to talk about that coming up, but we've got all kinds of other stuff to do. And Winnie always keeps us up to date with what's going on in the financial world, which is why I look forward to that every single time, because I have no clue. And that's why you're the expert who can help people like me understand what's going on.
Well, Greg, they say, friends keep friends rich. And I like my friends keeping their money. So that's what I'm here for you. Let's jump into that, because I can't wait to get talking about streaming with you and everything else, because I learned so much from you, Greg. And I'm actually really glad you're here, because I know you've been dealing with a pretty warm weather in your part of town. So thank you for not melting. So let's start with the Dow and let you know how it closed. Dow closed up 152 points. The NASDAQ up 116 points. The S&P also up 32 points. That's actually really great news. For those of you going into the 3-day weekend here, the S&P now has risen for 7 consecutive sessions. That's right. So this is the longest winning streak for the S&P in over 10 months. We'll take it. We'll take it for sure. Now, Greg, this is something that I know you've been talking about a lot, and we've talked about this before, is a whole discussion on jobs. Jobs. What the future of work is going to look like. But more importantly, a lot of Americans now are going back to work. In fact, last month, we showed 850,000 Americans back to their jobs. And so because of that, we're seeing a lot of upswing in the financial markets. People feeling pretty good. Let me ask you this, Greg, has work changed for you much?
I mean, not a lot for what I've been doing, although I guess in some instances I have been doing a little bit more things on location and in person. So far, I haven't seen a whole lot of change just in my particular field, but I do think that's such a good question. And I'm curious for people watching too, now that we've talked about this future of work, I mean, it is such a big discussion. There's a lot of people I know that still want to work at home, or maybe there's a hybrid thing that we can do, but it sounds like with that many people going back into the office, maybe that's where people are heading. I will say, because it was so hot here over this last weekend, I do wish I had an office I could have gone into with air conditioning. That would have got me right back in. But other than that, yeah, I think for me, it doesn't change a lot. Although I am looking forward to doing some more in-person things.
Yeah, I'm totally with you there. I definitely want to do more in-person stuff. I mean, I like being able to join these little conferences. This week I spoke at the CNBC FA Summit, and that was really fun to do remotely, but you still sort of miss going into the office. And so that's what we're talking about right now. Obviously for Greg, air conditioning is a big plus. The future of work, they're saying, is totally hybrid. We want that flexibility. In fact, over 83% of Americans who are recently surveyed by Accenture are saying, like, you give us hybrid or that's it. We want flexible work conditions. We want to be able to do our face-to-face with our colleagues when we want to, but we also like being able to juggle laundry and pets and family at home too. And so Microsoft is doing something kind of cool. They're actually teaming up with the mindfulness app Headspace. Now, some of you have heard that. They're actually bringing that into Teams, because they're saying, well, because one of the things that, I don't know if you miss this, Greg, but I really miss is, you guys are going to think I'm totally crazy here because I live in Southern California, but I actually missed the commute to work, because at that point it was like, that's when I got to catch up with my music. I got to drive a little bit, and you had that like quietness between home and work. And then same with the drive home. And they're saying, well, a lot of employers are missing that quietness now that they're working 24/7 from bed to home. And I thought it was kind of interesting.
That is, yeah, figuring out that balance and separation. I know that was a difficult thing for me when I first started working from home. When COVID first happened, it's like, well, technically you could never turn it off because you're always there at work. So finding that balance is good. And I guess I never thought about that as that separation time. If the commute's too long, then it might be a little bit more than that. But yeah, like 20, 30 minutes or something like that, where you just listen to your podcast or decompress for a minute before you get home and switch gears. I can see why people would miss that. Because that is,
because it's kind of, I don't know, I don't do it that often. I don't sit here and like, oh, maybe I'll listen to the radio for 20, 30 minutes. I mean, that sounds pretty nice, right? Because then you're like,
I don't do that either. Maybe I should.
Maybe we should, right? Maybe we should literally like stop time and just listen to music. I feel like it would drive me nuts because I would start to fidget with other things. I don't know.
Yep. I have an idea that probably neither of us are very good at separating that out and sitting still. So that maybe this is something we should do. Make ourselves do that.
Yeah. And so those of you who are watching, I'm really curious. Like Vicky, hello, Maureen, so awesome to see you. Robin, Joshua, CrossX Fighter. Thank you so many. Wow, such a great. We're so happy to have you, Bert. Yeah. And yes, happy Friday to you too, Vicky. It's so great to see you. I'm curious, like, what do those of you who maybe you're in hybrid, maybe you're working from home, what do you miss? Because I can't believe I actually miss driving, but I actually do miss driving. I actually think what I'm going to do this weekend, since it's a 3-day weekend, I'm actually going to put my shoes on. I'm going to go in the car. I'm going to say hello in my car because it's been a while,
Yeah. There's something to be said for that. I think I'm going to be doing that as well.
You do that too. Hey, speaking of Greg, don't you have air conditioning in your car? So I mean, I feel like.
Yeah, that is kind of a bonus. I suppose I could just do that, just sit in the car. I mean, right now it's not too bad. For anybody who doesn't know, I'm in Portland and it was 116 degrees here on Monday, and we don't have that many people have air conditioning because we didn't think we'd need it here. And it was quite an experience. I have a much, much higher appreciation of air conditioning now. So yeah, maybe that's it. I'll just go sit in my car.
I know it's so crazy that it's so crazy that all this climate change is really, 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 really strange. We'll have to do a whole show about that one day. Well, on happier news, I guess Elon Musk is in a really good mood these days. Big congratulations to him, as well as Tesla, because Tesla delivered over 200,000 vehicles in second quarter of 2021. Now, this is a big deal because Tesla previously had never broken this record of theirs, and so they finally switched it up. They actually, during the quarter, they produced over 206,000 vehicles, including the popular Model 3 and Y, as well as lesser, but they still produce some Model S's and Model X's. Now, I'm sure this is something that Greg knows a lot more than I do, but I sort of read a little bit about this Model X Plaid. Sounds pretty awesome. I guess this thing is so fast, I guess it'll go through walls. I don't know, but supposedly it's pretty quick. And so yeah, they had a record number of cars being delivered, which is really interesting, especially during a time when a lot of car companies are actually closing factories, such as Ford, because they don't have enough chips to develop cars. And so many of you I know have actually written to me too that you've been selling your used cars for a much higher price. And that actually inspired me to do the same thing. So I'm actually planning to sell one of my very old car that I was kind of keeping around because for sentimental reasons. So I guess it's time to go.
Time to get out of there. Yeah, that is a lot of production because that's something that Tesla's had trouble before, and I know people have knocked them on is under delivering, on the production of those things. And that's good, I guess, that they're selling so many, but they're not keeping up with it. But yeah, that chip shortage, I'll be curious to see how that plays out with a lot of these new electric cars that are coming out, because everybody's got them now. Or every company seems to be working on them. You've got the Ford EF-150, you've got all these, Rivian, the Cybertruck, all of that. And I'm wondering if that's going to translate down the line too, to where we're going to see more delays on that stuff just because they can't get that particular supply for these vehicles. Yeah.
Yes. You know what I'm really interested too, Greg, I'm hoping one day what they'll let you do is, regardless of which electric vehicle that you have, that somehow that your car can actually be a house battery. So for example, let's say like it's really hot, where you're at, and then there's a power outage or whatnot. You could actually turn around and plug into your car and then like put that AC unit back on play at your house. I'm hoping that do that.
That exact idea, the EF-150, that's one of the things they're advertising about it. They're saying that you can use it to power your house for like 2 to 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
So it's a great
cool.
idea. Yeah, Ford's doing that.
Wow. Okay, hey, enough of that. That's so
Yeah,
exciting.
sorry.
But,
Sidetrack.
but again, you got me thinking. I'm like, oh, I got to put this down. I got to research this because this is really interesting. The other thing is, when you think about billionaires, and we talked about this on my other show, but one of the things we know, like billionaires, like when you have that much money, like what do you spend it on, right? Greg said, and one thing that you've probably seen Elon Musk talk about is how he sold off most of his houses here in California. He kept one house in the Bay Area as his party event house, right? But now I guess he's living in this 20-foot by 20-foot little teeny tiny putt-putt house in Texas, close to SpaceX. And so so that's what billionaires do. But what billionaires also do is when they have that much money, they seem to one up each other. And this is what I thought was really interesting. I was like, oh my goodness, this is totally up Greg's alley, is who's going to go to space first. Like you and I really, this is not really something that we need to do this weekend. But for billionaires, when you can do everything and can buy planets and islands and everything else, I guess the competition is who will be the first billionaire in space. I guess at first people were thinking Elon, but looks like Richard Branson's going to one up him, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Elon has the opportunity because they've sent crewed missions up multiple times now at this point. So he could have put himself on one of those, it's interesting to know why he hasn't done it yet, why he hasn't done it so far, because he's always said that he wants to go to Mars. So why hasn't he been going to the International Space Station or any of these other trips? Yeah, and then Branson, well, Bezos is going to be going up later on this month, actually. Him and his brother are going up with Blue Origin. But yeah, Branson, I think, is just going to sneak in there and get in just ahead of them to be the first of those three up there.
Virgin Galactic, I guess it's called, right? Mm-hmm. And then I guess I guess that's planned for July 11th, and then like Bezos is going to be in another 9 days from there. I'm going to guess, and I'm hoping this is the reason. I'm going to guess could be because Elon Musk just had a baby not long ago. Maybe his wife doesn't want him, hold their
could be,
maybe just do some family time. I'm hoping that's the case.
Something.
Yeah. All right, Greg. What else we got going on today?
Well, it's funny you mentioned Elon Musk because I actually have something else with them as well, talking about SpaceX. And he made a speech this week at MWC, which is Mobile World Congress. So that's basically it's the big smartphone wearable convention that takes place in Barcelona. And it was canceled last year, of course, but this year now they had kind of it was kind of a hybrid thing that they had going, but he spoke at it and he was talking about Starlink. So Starlink, for anybody who doesn't know, is part of his plan to basically encompass the globe in satellites to provide broadband internet wherever you are. So in the middle of nowhere, you could still get broadband internet, which is a huge issue. Even in the United States, this is an issue just because people don't have access to high-speed internet. So this could actually help mitigate a lot of those problems. But what he was talking about is just where they're at and how quickly they've brought this on board. So they've just been launching these satellites. You've probably seen the launches, which are always really impressive. Yeah, with those Falcon 9 rockets and lands back and they reuse it. So they made it so cheap that he can put these up pretty much constantly. And they've got about 1,500 now as part of this constellation of satellites. Yeah, it's just crazy how many are up there, but they have the rights approval to go up to, I think it's like 35,000 is what they could put up, and they may get to that eventually. Yeah, that's a lot of satellites. That's a lot of satellites.
And I hear that the internet that they're able to send out from their satellites are like so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, I signed up I haven't gotten my beta invitation yet. You might have it, but I'm looking forward to it.
I signed up also, but I haven't gotten it yet either. They said I'm actually at capacity. So I think the area is at capacity. So I think somebody got in there ahead of me around where I'm at. But yeah, I would definitely want to try this because I mean, if it really does work, and they're going to have to bring the price down on the actual units themselves. He said they're selling those at a loss right now, but they'll get that technology down. But then think about, you could go anywhere you want and always have broadband internet speeds. Like you could go up to the mountains, you could go out on, out in the middle of the ocean, you'd have broadband speeds. I'm presuming, they would have it on the planes as well. But yeah, pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, you don't realize how much you value Wi-Fi until you don't have it. I was my last trip to Yosemite. I mean, just like literally just like sitting there hoping you have signal. It's a little nerve-wracking. It's like, and Vicky's saying, wow, this is, and Joshua saying, Cross-X Fighter saying, no, Winnie, I don't want to visit space. You know what? billionaires, I guess, are visiting space. But
Yeah.
I think I'm with you. I think I'm not in a hurry just yet. I think I'm good here.
I'll
Southern
go.
California right now. Y'all
I'll
go.
go up there. Yeah.
We vote for Greg. Everybody
Bezos,
vote for
Branson,
Greg.
Musk. I don't care. Just as long as one of them asks me, that's all that matters to me.
Well, think about the quality time. I mean, along the flight, right? You could ask him so many questions, during that time. I can see you doing tons of reporting, Greg.
Oh yeah, lots of them. I actually did a poll not very long ago too, asking if you had to go up with one of the billionaires, Elon Musk, Richard Branson, or Jeff Bezos, which one would you go up with?
Who would you pick?
I would probably pick Richard Branson because he seems like he'd be a lot of fun to hang out with. I imagine, it's like a party while you're going up there into space. I think that would probably be the most fun.
I think he seems like I feel like he seems like the nicest of the three. Because I've heard him speak. I heard him speak at a conference not that long ago, and he just seemed like a really genuine, nice guy. But who knows?
Yeah.
I heard Jeff Bezos is nice too. Some people say. Well,
I mean, they might all be. But yeah, it's whoever it is. Like I said, nothing against you, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. I will happily go to space with both of you. I'm assuming you're watching right now. So just to make sure that's clear. That's clear out there.
Okay. Let's take a survey. I think that's a perfect time. For those of you who are watching, I'm curious, and Greg is as well, if you were invited to go on a trip to space somewhere very special, very lush, who would you want to do that trip with? Let's say, Greg, how long do you think this trip would take? How many hours do you think?
The Branson ones, I think you're only up there for a couple of hours. So you could do, let's say that. So it's like a quick trip up and back.
Okay, quick trip up and back. Let's just assume like 3 hours, okay? And then let's give another their version of TSA. So let's take 2 hours, then on the back, get your luggage. So let's say you get a total of 6 hours with one of these billionaires. Which of the three would you want to fly with? We want to hear from you. So those of you who are watching, tell us, is it Richard Branson, like Greg and I? Is it Jeff Bezos from Amazon, or is it the one and only Elon Musk, who pretty much needs no introduction there as well? So who do you pick? Okay, see, Robert is saying Musk, Elon. Okay, we see Adam Silver is saying Branson, 100%. Vicky is saying Richard with exclamation points. I love it. All right, who else? I see a lot of you because I'm really curious. Okay, Sadiq is also saying that Richard Branson, he is a surfer. So I guess surfing is a priority there. I didn't know that. I'm sure, Greg, you knew that. I didn't. I
think I've seen pictures of him doing that. That it makes sense, I guess.
He was an island, right?
Right? Yeah, he's got that private island.
I feel like he would be fun because you'd be like, okay, so, you're getting friendly with Sir Richard Branson, and then later on he might invite you to his cruise ship. Then he might invite you to his island. I mean, I feel like this could be like leveling up in entertainment travel. Versus if you go with Jeff or Elon, that would be like one and done. Maybe they would invite you to their factories and you could check out like that. But
you're not getting to that private island. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Step up. That's the ultimate goal, is to get an invitation to that private island.
Yeah. And have you heard their cruise ship sounds really cool? I haven't been on it yet. And as you know, I have 3 kids, so it's kind of harder. But I guess he hasn't. What I hear, he's got this amazing cruise line. No children are allowed, but it's supposed to be very bougie.
I have not heard about that. I'm now definitely interested in learning about that. That sounds awesome. Another reason that he would be a good person to hang out with. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay, good. I love it.
Cruise line. Well, so we've got that. So talking about those 2 things, I have one other thing to bring up to you before you start talking about streaming. And this I just thought is kind of an interesting piece of technology, and also came out around MWC. And it comes from a company called TCL. And what it is essentially smart glasses that project a movie screen onto the lenses. So it's kind of like this demonstration right here. You have one cord, you plug it into your phone, a laptop, whatever you're using for your device, and that's it. And then in there, on those things, are 2 Sony OLED screens that project, give you one giant, it's basically the equivalent of a 146-inch movie theater, and you can play games on it, watch movies, take it anywhere. They're clearly showing it traveling for something like that. Commuting, I would imagine, be another good way if you're taking mass transit. But yeah, this is what they're kind of putting out there and seeing if people would be interested in using this. And I'm curious for you, Winnie, is this something that you think you would use?
all day long, especially since
Yeah.
I travel so much. And I think it'd be so incredible. I wouldn't just get one. I would get one for the whole family and my team, because then you could like everybody could watch their own thing in privacy. You could hear things. But I actually and I just always get challenged when you're on a plane, like 50% of the time, like, the audio doesn't work well, or there's very limited choices, and it's kind of wonky, right? I always have to travel with multiple headsets, assuming that there's a 50% chance it won't work. My Bluetooth thing won't work or something. So
Yeah.
this sounds great because it would be your own thing. And, I'm a big fan of Sony visual TV quality. So that would
Yeah.
work just
Yeah,
great.
I mean it's pretty great. And I think I did say something. Maybe I may have said that wrong, but regardless, it is an amazing tech that they've got on there. Just having this and the ability to do it. It's also got speakers on it as well. So the speakers kind of directional speakers, so only you can hear it. I would imagine you can plug in Bluetooth headphones on top of that. But yeah, pretty cool tech that they've got there. And
Super cool tech.
yeah, we don't know when it's going to be available in the US yet, but I think it's going to Australia first. So they'll kind of get the first crack at these things, but eventually coming over here. And I don't know, that's cool. I would definitely love to play around with a set of these.
I know, right? And Adam
Yeah.
is saying, he's like, if we're getting in from the team to sign him up. I love it. That's the thing. I think this would be so cool. Like when you go to the beach, right? Or wherever you are, you could literally be watching yourself. I guess at the beach, you should be enjoying the beach. But it gives you like that flexibility and that control of quality. Not only that is, I think there's certain places where, like you had mentioned earlier, that there's just Wi-Fi is spotty and you could like download your Netflix or whatnot. And speaking of streaming,
yes. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah,
we got to know what to do.
We got to know what to do. And that's what we want to talk about here next here for The Loop. And we want to hear from everybody too as we go through this, but we want to fill you in on what there is to stream with this segment right here.
In the stream.
In the stream, I just want to say, I'm sorry. I love that intro. That was amazing. That's the first time that I've seen that. So for everybody watching live, that was so cool. So yeah, let's talk about what to stream. So Winnie and I kind of took some time, and I actually asked some people out there as well on Twitter and a couple of other places, just what people are looking forward to for July. So we kind of, in order to stream, like across all these different platforms, there's so much that's out there. It's a lot to filter through. So we kind of both sat down and made a list of our own and took some recommendations. And we just want to walk through those and talk about what we've got, hear what you think, give us your recommendations as well. And Winnie, I know you went through and kind of went with a specific theme for what you were looking for.
I guess so, Greg. You are so right. I love myself a good chick flick for sure, and like, and some of you maybe as well. I just love that romantic comedy, happiness things. And so actually, and I gotta say, some of my good friends like Bethany Walsh, who she and I talk about this too. Virgin River is coming back on Netflix. Super excited. So this is gonna be season 3, where the beautiful nurse comes in a small town and meets a very handsome manly man, and they, and we're going to see how that develops. So I know, Greg, this is on top of your list.
Oh, yes. Well, I remember you two talking about this, and I was unaware of what Virgin River was before, but now that I know what it is, I see it everywhere now. I see advertisements and posts and like memes that I didn't understand beforehand, and now I at least know where it comes from.
Actually, your girlfriend's probably gonna want to watch it, but this is good stuff. This is really good stuff, and I'm looking forward to it. This is coming on July 9th. I think for those of you who haven't seen the first couple seasons yet, there's still time. You can actually binge all weekend to get ready for July 9th, but that is coming. So I'm super excited. But for me, like on top of that, I mean, this is probably big enough already. I probably should just stop right here. But also, Grey's Anatomy season 17 is coming on Netflix on July 3rd too. I really like Grey's Anatomy too.
That is a lot I had no idea Grey's Anatomy had 17 seasons. How long has that been on the air?
I don't know. Since you were in kindergarten, I guess.
I mean, that is just nuts. So
But a really long
season
time.
17.
Yeah.
I have to say, I've never seen an episode of Grey's Anatomy, and that's probably the
What?
worst sport. I know. Somehow it's one of those that I just never watched. Is it something you can just jump in on season 17 and know what's going on? Or would you need to start from the beginning?
Okay, so those of you who are watching, right? Okay, so I see Vicky, Joshua, you got clue Greg in on this. Okay, so because you got to watch all these. Okay, there's so many things that happen in Grey's Anatomy that you're like, what? And how can that be? Like, is he crazy? She's not crazy. Alex fell in love with who? It's a lot, and. Okay. I feel like if you gotta watch the, I don't know. I'm curious, Robin. Those of you who are watching and Cross X Fighter 2, what do you think? I feel like Greg should start from the first season if he hasn't seen Grey's Anatomy. I don't feel like it's it's not like a Game of Thrones thing where you can sort of like catch up really fast because it goes a little slower.
Okay,
that's my opinion.
Okay. All right. So start from the beginning.
But I can't believe you haven't seen it. You're like the only person on the earth who hasn't seen this show.
I know. It's probably am. Yeah, I am probably one of the only ones. I somehow just always missed it. So I will see if I can get I can watch that. I'm seeing Robin say, no, you can't just jump in. So I will start from the beginning. We'll start the whole Grey's Anatomy world from the very beginning.
I love it. Well, you'll have to report back and let us know what you think. But the other thing that, I this is one that I really want to talk about because as you know, I've worked with DreamWorks Animation in client capacity on my financial side for years, since like 2005. And so some of the producing team, the team behind Kung Fu Panda have been my longtime clients, and I absolutely adore them. So I gotta do a quick shout out on this. Kung Fu Panda is coming to Netflix 1 and 2. Okay, this is amazing. I have like every Kung Fu Panda ever, right? I have it signed, everything. Let me just tell you, I don't care if you are 5 or you are 55 or 105. Kung Fu Panda gets high marks from me. I highly recommend that you check this out. It's got to make you feel good when you finish watching this. And I also will say, you'll probably feel like eating dumplings after, which is never a bad thing, Greg.
No, dumplings. You just mentioning that, now I want to eat dumplings. Yeah, that's I'm in. So Kung Fu Panda, amazing, and dumplings. There's your match. You match those two up.
How many have you seen, Greg? How many of these Kung Fu Pandas have you seen? The first and second and third?
I've only seen the first one. I have not seen the other two. So I have some catching, and I saw the first one a long time ago, it feels like. So I would probably need to rewatch that. I mean, those are so good. I mean, DreamWorks always makes such amazing movies. So I will divulge or put some time into watching some more Kung Fu Panda as well. So now I've got Grey's Anatomy and Kung Fu Panda.
Yes, definitely catch those up, and you're gonna feel good about watching them too. Because I will tell you from personal experience, long time experience, the team behind Kung Fu Panda are some of the nicest people. So you're gonna love what they've come up with. I don't know, Greg. What else? Do you have any ideas for Netflix for me? Because to be honest with you, I don't watch that much, so I'm always trying to catch up to everybody else.
I've got actually a few that I wanted to just kind of cover, some ones that I think some people are going to be interested in. I'm not going to say that they're all great, but I think that you may want to watch some of them. That's what the first one that I'm going to bring up is actually one that's out and it's available today. It's called The Tomorrow War. It's on Amazon Prime, so Prime Video. And it's Chris Pratt. It's basically, I love Chris Pratt. Right. Yeah. Chris Pratt, always going to be fun. The premise is 30 years into the future, aliens invade and they build it, and then humans build a time machine, and they've got to bring people from current day to 30 years in the future to help fight off the aliens. Real dumb premise. I mean, I'm just putting that out there. That's what it is, which is kind of perfect for me because I love a good cheesy sci-fi movie, fight the aliens off, humans unite kind of thing. And that's pretty much, I think, what you've got right here. I wouldn't look into this for anything really deep. You're probably not going to learn a lot of lessons out of this, but there's, lasers in a time machine. Like that's all you really need for me to watch.
Yeah.
This. And
I mean, you have Chris Pratt and lasers and future, and I feel like that's 100% winner right there.
Yep. All of it, all across the board.
You know what it's rated by top of your head?
I actually don't. I can find that out.
No worries at all, because I was just thinking, like, I think a lot of parents would want to watch this. I bet their kids would like. I just get curious. But
that's a good point. I never I actually, since I don't have kids, I have actually never
You don't
think
have to
about
worry
looking at
about
that.
that.
Yeah, I
That's just
don't,
my
I don't
homework.
think
I
about that.
have to drop the ball on that. That's my apology. Well, keep on going, and I will go look this up for us.
Okay, you can check out what the rating is.
Yeah.
So we've got that one, and then there is another one that's actually out now that you can watch as well on HBO Max. And this looks like a really good movie. It's called No Sudden Move, and it takes place in 1954 Detroit. Benicio del Toro, Don Cheadle's in it. It's basically the premise is essentially they're crooks who think they're just doing kind of a quick job, quick heist or something like that, and naturally things go awry. They get pulled into something much bigger than what they thought they were going to be a part of. But it just looks amazing. It looks really great how it's shot as well. Oh yeah, and you got Rory Culkin in there too. So this looks like a really solid, entertaining movie, kind of a mystery as you go along with it, and pulls into all that stuff. Yeah, looks cool. And they talk about 1954 Detroit. I love a good timepiece, as far as getting to see how they recreate it and what something would have looked like then. So this just looks fantastic, and that's on HBO Max right now.
This looks great. Okay, thank you so much, Suzanne. Suzanne is telling us Tomorrow War is PG-13. Very cool. So that actually does open up to a lot of families at home too. Wow, this is great. Well, Greg, this one looks like a winner too. We're big fans of Don Cheadle here, so
yeah. Don Cheadle in anything, it's going to be good. And Benicio del Toro, I love that guy too. So yeah, this just looks like it's going to be fantastic. So you've got that one on HBO Max. Now there's a couple more that are coming up, excuse me, just a little bit later in July that I think a lot of people are looking forward to, particularly if you're fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Black Widow is out on July 9th.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
Yeah, this is one, it's been delayed
Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, and it kept getting pushed back, just like a lot of other movies. But finally, it's going to be here. So it's a prequel telling the basically, I believe, the origin story of Black Widow. I never like to look too much into what the plot is beforehand because I just want to be surprised as it goes along. But it's the first Marvel movie we're getting here in quite a while, and it's going to be the first of a few this year. But this just looks great. I mean, if you're fans of the MCU, you're going to want to see this. We've been waiting for this for a long time. And you got all kinds of new villains that are going to show up. Just really cool. Yeah. And Scarlett Johansson finally getting her own full movie dedicated just to her character, which is, I think, a really important aspect of this as well.
Very, very cool. She looks so tough there. Look at that. Yeah. I can see a lot of kids dressing up as her for Halloween. How exciting. That looks like we might have to get HBO Max just to see that one. Very, very cool. Yeah, a lot of people I see many of you. Sadiq is saying finally, and then CrossX Fighters interested in Marvel movies. Robin's saying finally, yes, Black Widow. Vicky is saying definitely going to watch this. Those are great choices. I'm loving this. This one just looks so good. And then the final one I've got, and this is something that I'm going to recommend to everybody to watch if you have not. Well, it's Ted Lasso on Apple TV. So Ted Lasso season 2 comes out later this month, which gives you time to either rewatch or watch for the first time season 1. Winnie, have you seen Ted Lasso? I have not, but now I'm very excited because I have Apple TV and I don't know what to watch.
It is seriously one of the funniest and sweetest shows I think that I've seen in a long time. It's just really, really a great story. It's Jason Sudeikis. He plays this American football coach who gets hired by an English soccer team to become the coach of that. He knows nothing about soccer, but he's just kind of this boisterous, always happy-go-lucky kind of guy. He's got this team with him. Everybody on there is just such a great character. It's so good. I cannot recommend Ted Lasso enough. For just something nice, easy to watch. You don't have to put a lot of thought into it. It's just fun.
Wow, Robin said she's been watching it, so she loves it too. This is great. All right, so I'm going to actually add 2 more to your list because for those of you who are parents out there, let me tell you, I'm also excited. This is also on Disney Plus. Ted Lasso, this one I'm definitely going to see. But Disney Plus, I also want to bring up, if you haven't seen Monsters at Work, episode 101. This one is really fun too. And and lastly, okay, so this is you can check this. It's so cute.
This is Monsters at Work.
Yeah.
don't scare anymore. Now we're laugh power. Sorry about that.
They're putting you two in charge.
You're kidding. It's laughter we're after. We're gonna need to find a couple of hundred more funny monsters.
Excuse me, Tyler Tuskman, official scarer.
What? Scarer?
You're no longer hiring scarers?
Scarers are out. Jokesters are in.
Is this a joke?
Report to Miffed.
Yeah! Home sweet home. Meet the new guy, Tyler Tuskman.
Hi.
We were
This
best
one looks
buds in
so
college.
good.
Just had that one class together.
Yeah, but it was special.
We didn't actually speak. What exactly is Miffed?
What is Miffed?
Now you've done it.
The Monsters, Inc. facilities team.
M-I-F-T.
If a machine needs maintenance, we maintain it. Now!
None of us will ever speak of this again. Nobody saw nothing.
Well,
Nobody saw nothing.
I was told this is a temporary reassignment.
Good for you.
None of us Mifters are going anywhere. I'll teach all you scary monsters how to be funny. I'm not sure this was such a good idea.
They just delivered the new kids had an ID. Welcome to Monsters Incorporated.
This is a super cute movie. I mean, I thought Monsters was so good. I don't know if you've ever ridden the Monsters ride at Universal Studios. I feel like it really pays tribute to it. It's fun stuff.
I haven't, but I want to. That sounds great. And obviously this is clearly very well done, just like the other ones that you were recommending. This looks great.
This is one I would definitely recommend for parents. I think this is a fun one. And of course, lastly would be circling back to my like role on chick flicks right now, The Pursuit of Love, which is coming on Amazon too, which I know it was on your radar too. I was surprised it was on your radar.
Yeah, if you hadn't said it, I was clearly going to be mentioning that one. But I know what it's all about, but maybe you could just tell everybody else what it's about.
I don't know what it's about. I just think I honestly don't. So I actually just thought, these are exactly the type. I like to pick my shows based on who's in them. And so I'm like, oh, wow, this is the cast I would love to see. So maybe you could share with us.
I have no idea. I have no idea what it's about. I was just trying to punt that away.
Neither of us know. So here's the great thing is sometimes you don't really need to know what the show is about. You know that this is a star cast and it's going to be good. So let's do this. If you're going to watch this, I'm actually going to check this out. Let's see what we think and we can circle back, right? And I think what we're going to do, I feel like, Greg, like we should do this every month. We should talk about what's streaming every month because this helps me.
Yeah.
Filter out.
Well, and there's so much. Yeah. Like you said, filter out some of those other ones, all through all this craziness. That's why I love recommendations too. All four of those were things that people that I had talked about were things that people had recommended to me because it's, there's a lot to go through. Even if that's like your full-time job going through it, it's still a lot to figure out. So it's always good to hear from people what your recommendations and we'll try to do that too. With you and I going through this, maybe we can pick a show that we each watch or something and give a review of it or something along those lines. That would be something.
This is getting me thinking. Like now I'm thinking, what I should do is I should invite some of my clients who work on some of these programs and movies.
Yeah.
And have them give their insight on this show. Would you enjoy that? If you enjoy that and you're watching us, let us know because sometimes like it's really fun when they say, oh, we cut this out or we did this. And it's really insightful, like all that behind the scenes type of stuff.
I find that fascinating. Just, knowing how something got put together and hearing what goes into it and some of the, sometimes learning about some of the tech, because obviously for a lot of movies now, the technology is just getting better and better and better. So how they're incorporating that, what they're shooting it with. Yeah. I could have 9 million questions depending on who it is that we talk to, but I would be interested, but yeah, definitely curious what people think.
Yeah, I think that would be really, really cool. Well, we had a great summer so far. So looking forward to seeing some of this in July now that I kind of know my watch list. Goodness, thank you so much, Greg. You surely saved me a lot of time. And actually, I'm really excited about that Ted Lasso. That looks so fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you too.
I'm just like ready to start watching now.
Right. Yeah. Well, and we've got, the 4th of July weekend to do that, to watch some of these things too. So definitely some great things. And yeah, like we were saying, please send in your recommendations to us too. Let us know what you're watching, what you think. Maybe you have an idea for a good guest for the show or a segment, whatever it is. We're always available on social media or emailing or however you want to get a hold of us. Like, please do.
And we're super excited to have this collaboration come together. And we're so excited to be able to welcome you to this show. So this show is about the audience, about you telling us exactly what's exciting and important to you, so we make sure that we can bring you in on the action. But let me tell you, I mean, Greg, I look forward to every week just hanging out with you. So thank you so much for doing this. And I mean, I guess I'll see you next week, right? I think I'll see you next week.
I think, well, yes, I think we are next week. So, all right.
Yes, we will be back next week. We can't wait to see you again. We have more information, more things to share with you in the world of finance and tech and everything else in between. And we have some really special shows scheduled for July. So you definitely want to tune in. And of course, over 4th of July, I don't know, maybe you're going to have a hot dog. Maybe you're going to have a beer. Maybe you should tell your friends about In the Loop, because we would love to see you. And with that, we will see you again next week then, right?
Yep. Yes, indeed. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Take care.